Hi! Today, I will show you different indigenous practices that people still do in the Philippines. Indigenous practices are local knowledge developed over centuries of experimentation and are orally passed from generation to generation. Hi! Indigenous dance is an important element of life in the Philippine traditional culture. And Tinikling is one of its examples. Tinikling is a traditional Philippine folk dance which originated during the Spanish Colonial Era. The dance involved two people beating, tapping, and sliding bamboo poles on the ground and against each other, in coordination with one or more dancer who step over and in between the poles in a dance.
Indigenous farming practices are local knowledge that accumulated from the farmers' experiences and practices through time.
One of the famous farming system of Ifugaos is payo, or rice terraces. Banawe rice terraces is an example of this. These are terraces made by stone or mud wall that are carved on the contours of hills and mountains to make terrace pan fields for the cultivation of rice, created more than 2,000 years ago by the Ifugao people.
Hi, I'm one of the Yakans, and I'm from the province of Basilan, also known as some of the best weavers in the Philippines, and I weave with huli and sulip thread.
The Yakan weaving craft started on the island of Basilan, and there is no better site to see this leaf art than in the Yakan homeland of Lamitan, Basilan. Yakan handloom fabrics are known for their use of bold colors and geometric patterns. Yakan fabrics are traditionally used as garments. The weaving sector has provided jobs for many Yakan women due to the cooperation of the Lamitan Municipal Administration. Some of the Lamitan Yakan fabrics are currently being shipped to Zamboanga City for sale at the Yakan Weaving Village. The sipatungan is a square cloth that Yakan women wear as a headdress or belt. Yakan textiles are currently being used to make bags, coin purse, table runners, and other household accessories. Due to their growing popularity, nowadays most of the Yakan wear Western clothes and use their traditional clothes only for special festivals.
Hi! As a country consisting of 7,000 islands, fishing is an important livelihood in Filipinos living in coastal areas.
Indigenous fishing methods are used by local and ethnic groups. Gleaning, net fishing, fishing lines, the use of arrows, harpoons, and barriers, set and mobile traps, night fishing, fish addiction, and spear fishing are the usual traditional fishing methods. Spear fishing is one of the common fishing methods used by indigenous people in the Philippines. It is the way of catching fish in freshwater or saltwater with the use of spear.
Hi, this is indigenous tattooing in the Philippines. Patok, patek, batik, among other names, are general term for indigenous tattoo in the Philippines.
There is one person who could best represent the rich culture of Kalinga. Wangod is the oldest Filipino tribal tattoo artist. Tattooing on both sexes was practiced by almost all ethnic groups of the Philippine Islands. Some say she put Kalinga on the map of must-visit places for local and foreigners alike. Many people brave the cold weather and 10-hour trip to get inked by Wangod.
Indigenous people in the Philippines still hunt despite of being illegal. Because of poverty and lack of resources, they have more reasons to hunt wildlife.
But talking about indigenous hunters' different hunting techniques, they use a locally made wooden snare litag to capture larger and medium-sized species. Wooden or metal spears or bangkaw are used to hunt large and agile species. Small birds such as finches and parrots are captured using a sticky sap from Tipolo, Artocarpus, Blancoy, or Antipolo tree and placed on a tall trees. The use of sungkit, a long bamboo stick with sharp hooks at the end of it, and kite called borador embedded with rattan of citrus thorns is also practiced to capture large flying foxes or smaller bats roosting in tree cavities.
Pagan is a person who believes that everything has a soul or spirit. This is called animism, and all pagan religions share this belief. Rivers, animals, rocks, trees, and land are all filled with their own unique spirits for people who are pagans. Unlike many other religions, paganism has no dedicated places of worship that adherents attend. Instead, they create their sacred spaces each time they wish to practice in a process called casting the circle. This entails demarcating the boundary of the circle using physical markers such as salt, rocks, or candles. This ritual has been done for blessing, protection, bountiful harvest, and reverence for the spirit they are calling. Those indigenous practices that we've shown earlier is rich in promoting our Philippine history. Different cultures, tradition, and history about our ancestors are still alive by seeing these indigenous practices thriving even today and attracting many tourists. Our government can help preserve these indigenous practices by supporting and enriching the country's variety of indigenous practices all over the Philippines, resulting in giving importance to our own tradition and culture. Also, empowering tourism because of the tourist preference to experience our rich culture. As a student, we've made this video to show you how the Philippine history is still alive and thriving just by showing indigenous practices that people are still doing even today. Traditions and culture might be overshadowed by the modernization of our country, but let us not forget the rich history and culture we've come from before we even got to this point. That's our video presentation. Thank you for watching.
Gusto mo? Abnormal. Game na.
Ako ka ni saan mo?